What is up, guys? My name is Matt, working for Cinematography Database, and today we're going to be looking at the 1A Tools Alpha Wheels and how they work in Cinedesigner. We actually spent a lot of time getting these to work properly in the software, and then I never made a video about how to do it, so people have the wheels in the software, but they don't know how to use it. Today I'm going to fix that. To start, what you're going to do is take out your Alpha Wheels, and I have them plugged in via micro USB to USB into my laptop, and I'm actually going to start by unplugging them. Okay, so we're going to start with them unplugged, and this order really matters. And just so that you know, as of right now, the way that you set them up in Cinedesigner, it's a little finicky, it's a little clicky, it's a little bit fragile. So I apologize for that. We are going to be working to making it more robust, more plug and play. Just plug it in and it works. But right now I'm going to take you through the process. It's a little bit laborious, so I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to try to get it to you as clear as possible so that you can do it if you want to be practicing live. Camera moves, it's a lot of fun. Cinema 4D right now, and I'm in R17 still. As of now, I haven't upgraded to R18. I need to do that. I just haven't had time, but I will soon, and we're going to start supporting R18 very, very soon. So to bring in the Alpha Wheels, you're going to want to go up to any of these things and go to Utility and bring in the actual Alpha Wheels and bring them in. I'm going to hit H or S, and here is a nice 3D model of the wheels. Pretty cool. And this is how you begin. So the Alpha Wheels are interesting here. So we open up our CD rig and you click on the actual Alpha Wheels themselves. Now these are exposed, you can open them, but honestly you don't need to. There's just geometry and stuff there. You can just kind of ignore that. What you'll see is basic coordinates controls, which don't really mess with the controls. That's not meant to be messed with at this point. What we have here is the CD serial tag, and this is what's going to basically allow these wheels, which is a serial connection, to talk to Cinedesigner. And this is what we're going to be playing with. So what you have to do first is bring in, of course, what you want to control with these wheels. So I am going to bring in a preset here, and I'm going to change this to a geared head because I think that makes a little bit more sense. I'm going to get rid of the slider, get rid of the RO, and get rid of the track, and build. There it is, very lovely, very nice. Let's see, let's flip this around here, and then I'm going to bring my Alpha Wheels out like this and just flip them 180 so that they look normal. So of course now the goal is to get these Alpha Wheels, which is the virtual representation of these, to talk to this geared head over here. And the process for doing this is a little bit crazy, so bear with me here, especially if you've never done Espresso. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this little tag here. That's an Espresso tag. You have to click the Espresso tag on the Alpha Wheels. You're going to double click it. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring up this Espresso Manager or Espresso Editor. And this can be a little intimidating if you haven't messed with Espresso yet, but Espresso is actually really fun. It's pretty easy. It just takes a little bit of time. But for those of you that just want to get in here and basically make the Alpha Wheels work, this is what we got to deal with. So you don't really have to understand anything with these. You're just going to be dragging some connections around. So what you want to grab is the the area head up here. You're going to drag the area head into this screen, right? And you can make it a little bit bigger by clicking and dragging. And then you're going to bring in the area head again. So we're bringing in the area head because we want this to be controlled by the Alpha Wheel. So if you're using a Technocrane head, if you're using any of the other heads, you want to just drag them in here. And the one on this side, this is important again. This layout is very important. You might want to screenshot this when it's all done and set up so you have it. With this red button here, you want to go in there, go to CD controls, and bring up pan, and you want to bring up tilt. And then on this side, you want to use the blue button here, which is the inside of it, basically. And you want to go to pan, controls, and tilt. So it kind of, hopefully this makes sense as far as like a visual layout. And this next step's important. And again, you just have to kind of start memorizing this whole thing. So you're gonna drag from head pan down to A1. And then you're gonna drag from head tilt to input 1. So I know that's kind of like confusing, and I'm not going to really explain to you why this works like this, and eventually I'm going to try to streamline it so you don't have to get into Espresso. But for now, this is the easiest way for us to implement this, and this is, very early days with the first version of Alpha Wheels, Cinedesigner R2. We're going to try to make it a lot easier as time goes on, but for now, this is how you do it. So we're going to basically do the opposite over here. We're going to go from A to head pan. Oops, that didn't work. We're going from A to head pan here. And you're going to go from the output of this one to tilt. So it's a little bit confusing, especially if you don't understand Xpresso and if you don't understand any of the scripting that's going on here. But that's how you get it into Cinedesigner for now. So I'm sorry that process is kind of sucks. It's not the easiest. Even for me, I have to think about it for a second. But again, you're going from head pan to A1. You're going to go from head tilt to input. Then you're going to go from A to head pan, output to head tilt. And hopefully I tried to set this up geometrically so that it visually makes sense. And screenshot this and do what you got to do. You know, on a Mac, it's like Apple Shift 4. And just screenshot this and keep it with you. So this is the first step. Ow, I hit my elbow on the wheels. This is the first step. Don't plug in the wheels yet. This is very important. Don't plug them in. You're gonna need to set up this Xpresso script first. If you set this Xpresso script up first, you're gonna be good. And let's move on. So those are now connected, and you're gonna go, again grab the alpha wheels, go to the serial tag. And here's the thing, if you hit enabled before you set up that Xpresso, Cinema 4D might crash. And I'm sorry about that. You have to be, when you're working with the alpha wheels live and this kind of stuff, it's like I said, we're still figuring out this connection. It does work, it's just a little bit fragile. Save a backup scene because this might crash. Cinema 4D, you might lose stuff. Just be fair warned, it's early days, we're pioneers in this space. So now that we have the Xpresso set up, you're gonna plug in the wheels. So step one was set up that Xpresso script, bring in the camera, bring in the alpha wheels, the physical model, set up the Xpresso, and now you can plug in the wheels. So you're plugging it in, a little light turns on. These are bus powered by the USB port. Amazing, very cool, guys. And what you're gonna do now, again, by selecting the alpha wheels themselves, you go to the CD serial tag, and you're going to do select. And you should get different ports. If you're on a PC, it's gonna look a little bit different. On a MacBook Pro anyway, mine is dev, USB modem, blah, blah, blah. You're gonna click that one, it's not Bluetooth. So if you have a Bluetooth thing connected, I think that's actually my Magic Pad is my Bluetooth connection. Hopefully this shows up and you're gonna select the correct one. And then you can click enabled. Now, if you did it wrong, Cinema 4D will crash because it's expecting this signal, and the way that we program the tag, it crashes. So make sure you set it up correctly. It might take you a couple times to get it right. And what you can do now is hit play. Okay. So now if I spin the left wheel, like in some of the videos that you've seen in the demo, the gear head starts spinning and panning. And this is the way that it works in the real world. You can change the mappings, but honestly, I think you should learn to work with it the way that a physical gear head works. You don't have to, I can tell you how to change that later. And then again, this does the tilt. Now, if you look at the geared head in the background, that wheel is actually spinning pretty accurately to the real world wheel, this one. Whereas these alpha wheels, see how much I'm spinning it, but that's only spinning slowly. I gotta fix that. But it doesn't really break anything. So these are actually geared right now and set up to be pretty accurate to a real world geared head for the Arri 1 at that speed. But you can, I'm gonna hit pause for a second. You can, if you select the alpha wheels tag, you'll see down here, so you select the tag, there's these pan speeds. If you play with these speeds, and again, we're having the very low numbers here, like 0.05 and 0.01, if you change those numbers, that will change the ratio of how much this spins to how much that rotates. So you gotta play with those. The defaults that I brought in are pretty good. So that is, in a nutshell, how you set this up. So I stopped my screen recording and I just remembered I want to say this to you guys. In this process, when you're done operating and you want to go back to work, what you should do is pause the timeline and then go back to the Cinema 4D or go back to the alpha wheels tag and disable the wheels. You don't want to leave them on. It's okay in some cases, but in other cases it's not. You want to disable the connection, and to be safe, in my opinion, I would unplug it like this as well. And then when you want to go back to operating live again, I would plug it in, which kind of resets them, and then enable again. Okay, so that's just one other tip I wanted to put out there. Again, I am working on making the connection a little bit more robust so that, for instance, I'm pretty sure if you're operating and then you pull this cord and turn it off, that will crash. It doesn't like that right now. I have to build in all of these error steps, these user error steps into the plugin, but it's not there right now. So don't unplug it while it's playing, and also when you're done, disable it and unplug the wheels before you restart it. This is just a programming thing. We'll work on it over time, but right now you just should follow those steps if you don't want to crash your scene. So to recap, import the virtual alpha wheels. Step 2, import your camera with the rig you want. Step 3, select the Xpresso tag and do that whole mess that I showed you there. Step 4 is to plug in the alpha wheels, select the USB port, hit enable, hit play on the timeline, and now you're operating. Pretty cool stuff. From there, you can, of course, animate a dolly move. You can animate the set moving. And then you can operate like you would in the real world right here and in Cinedesigner. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. I can't believe I don't spend more time doing this. I'm just personally doing a lot right now for Cinedesigner and the company. But for me, there's nothing more fun to me than putting on some music, setting up like a cool dolly scene, and just getting zen and practicing the wheels. And especially if you are an aspiring or a working movie operator or head operator and you want to start practicing for techno cranes, for gimbals with this, for helicopter, for car stuff, some of that is wheels. This is the best way to practice. There are other solutions out there, but this is the best. Not only do these control real world gimbals, they're actually also obviously working in Cinedesigner very well. We're going to be working together a lot moving forward with other future products in this product line. I'm going to try to make sure, as long as they're cool with it, that these work in Cinedesigner and that this is an environment where you can practice very one-to-one, very realistically remote camera head operating. And that's really never been possible before. You had to be on set. It was very difficult to get good at it. Now with the Alpha wheels, you can get a M15 in these and basically be using it like a remote head that's stabilized and then practice it here in Cinedesigner. Very cool stuff. So I hope that's helpful. I know the process is a little bit like right now, but it's not too bad once you memorize it. And really, there's no alternative out there at this point. So I'm going to work on making it easier. But for now, if you have Cinedesigner and you have Alpha wheels, that's how you set it up. I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys get out there and plan better, shoot better.